Good morning from beautiful Brisbane, Australia. My name's Linda. I'm your complex trauma certified recovery coach, and we're here today to talk about trauma-informed or trauma-trained. Now, one of the reasons why I've put this together is because I had too many emails about people going to trauma-informed professionals and then finding out that trauma-informed is not trauma-trained. So I wanted to be able to go through this step by step so that you are well equipped. Now, at the bottom of this video, or depending on what social media platform you're on, you're going to find a link to the slides so that you can read through them as well, and so that you can know that you know whether somebody is going to be professionally equipped to help you with all the different facets of recovery from complex trauma. One person emailed me and they'd gone to somebody, another professional who they said was trauma-informed, and that person said to them, well, all you need to do is love. Return to love. That's all you need to do. And I just, apart from re-traumatizing them, I just about had a cow over how insensitive, untrained, and you get what I mean. I'm going to be professional and not say what I really think. That another human being could say that to somebody who's been through so much trauma in their life is just ignorance. And we need to be the change, okay? So we want to be the first ones that change this up. So let's just go through the slides here. So for those who are new here and you've not come across me before, my name's Linda Meredith. I do a whole bunch of stuff in complex trauma. I'm well trained and I continue to study. And now I'm writing a certification so that people can say they are definitely complex trauma trained. And we'll do a different video about that because I want you to have as much information today as possible. Okay, so today we're going to go into what is trauma-informed, what is trauma-trained, what is the difference, and there is a difference. What is a complex trauma-trained coach? What is client-centered coaching, and the difference between therapy and coaching as well. So part one is the why, okay? Forgive my inability to change slides really easily. I haven't done one for a while, so I'm getting slowly back into how to make all the pieces work together. Okay, so the why. So this year only, on the 1st of January 2022, complex trauma was recognised by the World Health Organization. So who is the World Health Organization? That's their acronym, WHO. In its International Classification of Diseases, the ICD-11. And as a global community, we are only hearing about complex trauma or childhood developmental trauma in the last 5 years publicly. So many of us have been searching for real answers and real help for many decades. Hands up, everybody. And I want you to be able to understand fully what effective help will look like for you, because currently complex trauma is not taught in universities globally. That's right, globally. For a professional to be trauma trained, they have to seek further education beyond university. Okay, so currently out in the world, you'll find professionals who've never heard of complex trauma, a world who believes that trauma-informed is trauma-trained, life coaches and a variety of alternative business people teaching on trauma who sound good and are not formally trained in the complexities of complex trauma and believe you can heal with their one and done system, I can't tell you the number of clients have come to me and say, but I've tried their system and they said it would work, and these people aren't trauma trained, okay? And I want you to be safe with the choices you're going to make for your effective recovery. So what is a trauma-informed care approach? So when it's trauma-informed care approach, depending on the professional environment that it's in, they'll have a different number of guiding principles. So safety, they ensure the client feels physically, emotionally, and psychologically safe through developing a sense of security. Trustworthiness and transparency, peer support, collaboration and mutuality, empowerment and choice, cultural, historical, and gender issues. So they go through guiding principles. And let me just show you another one. So, and this is trauma-informed care, all right? Now, as I said below, these are all going to be in an e-booklet that you can download and read through. I don't want to go through every single one of them because it's quite involved and you'll be bored. Well, you'll understand what I mean when we get into it more. But these are absolute principles of trauma-informed care in order that you aren't re-traumatized. So if someone's re-traumatizing you, it's quite possible that they haven't even been trained in trauma-informed care, okay? So be very, very careful. So what is it that trauma-trained professionals are trained in? Okay, so they're not only trained to provide a safe and confidential place for you to talk about personal experiences, thoughts, feelings, or challenges, but they can also help you understand your situation, teach strategies, tools, skills, structures to assist in coping with and recovering from the impact of complex trauma and other potentially distressing situations. They realize the widespread impact of trauma and understand the potential paths for recovery. So they understand that it's not just one way. They know that you need a variety of choices to choose from in your recovery. They recognize the signs and symptoms of trauma in clients, families, and others involved. They respond by knowing how to help individuals fully engage with trauma practices. They provide psychoeducation, neuroeducation, lots of education that you can take home and work with it in your day-to-day life, and they can personalize it for you as an individual. With complex trauma, it is absolutely essential that you have somebody who knows how to apply this to you specifically for your needs, okay? So Trauma Train provides a space to learn about normal responses to trauma and specifically how a traumatic event has impacted you. This helps you understand why certain thoughts, feelings, and behaviors may occur, gives names and explanations to your experiences, and helps you know you're not alone in your experience. One of the key things clients say to me is, I know what I'm about to say, you'll just understand, because we've walked this path, all right? So complex trauma training isn't something that you go off and learn and then hope it fits everybody. It's actually people who understand what you've been through. So a traumatic experience results in a violation of your sense of safety. This includes violations of physical, emotional, psychological, and or relational safety. Trauma trained assists you in redeveloping internal, so emotional, psychological, relational, and physical, so touch and your environment, all of your senses of safety through activities and discussions designed specifically for these areas. And in that, you can also include the body, the brain, your soul, your spirit, your nervous system. It's complex, and it's called complex for a reason. It can help you identify, understand, explore, and express memories and feelings related to the trauma, but it doesn't have to go backwards into the trauma. If anyone's taking you back, that's a clear sign that they're not trauma trained. Janina Fisher says it very succinctly. It's a living legacy. So it is alive within us now. We don't need to go back searching for anything. It can help you to recognize what experiences may be associated with trauma triggers and work to adapt your responses and retrain your whole system over time and get you into good health, good relationships, good career choices. It can help you develop and practice skills to help decrease traumatic stress symptoms and other mental health symptoms associated with the trauma. You may experience decreases in depression, anxiety, dissociation, trauma-related shame or guilt, and or intrusive symptoms such as flashbacks and nightmares. And definitely you want somebody who's understanding that this is a whole normal process when we're in recovery from complex trauma. So one goal of being trauma trained is to help you regain power and control over past experiences which continue to impact you today. Okay, so what is the difference between trauma-informed and trauma-trained? Trauma is not their primary occupation, okay? So even if it's a psychologist, a psychiatrist, any kind of doctor, any other kind of professional, nurse, there are lots of other people who do alternative things. And trauma-informed, if they say they're trauma-informed, it means that it is not trauma, complex trauma specifically, is not their primary occupation. They are not equipped to help you with trauma recovery. Remember, at this time globally, psychologists, psychiatrists, and other trained professionals at university are not being educated in complex trauma. Trauma trained, so complex trauma or trauma is their main area of study, have sought specific education in this area, are professionally and personally equipped to help you achieve your recovery goals. So complex trauma trained coaches are trained in the 3 different types of trauma, are trained in multiple areas of trauma. Their story becomes their superpower to help you recover. So it's at the neurobiological level, okay, neuroscience, and I haven't got my book in front of me, but I will find it for you. It's at this really deep level where we're able to develop a safe space and we begin to change things around. So my story helps you recover because you know I've walked there, but also deep down at the neuro level, it comes into play as well. I'm going to talk about more of that in another video. We know how to provide emotional safety. We are trained in developmental trauma, psychoeducation, neuroscience, attachment theory, and the various forms of abuse and intergenerational trauma. Practice a client-centered approach for effective recovery. So what is a client-centered approach? Okay, so you are the director of your recovery. Now, here's the thing with complex trauma. We don't know what we don't know. So normal client-centered, which says, you know what you need. Well, we don't know because when it's developmental trauma, we've never come across what it is we need. Our brain doesn't know what we need. So as a complex trauma trained professional, we need to be able to offer you a variety of things that will work in order that you can choose what you know will work for you. Okay? So there's congruence, there's authenticity and realness, there's empathy. We are processing a process of understanding. So I can walk in your shoes and I understand. Well, we know that somebody else has been through here and is having a healthy recovery. It's a climate that promotes growth. And it's in that climate, you're going to be able to look back and see that you have actually made progress. So I know that when people come to me and they've been in therapy for decades and they say, I've made no progress, it's the same all the time. Then when they come to trauma-trained coaches, coaching in and of itself is about making progress, okay? And that's what we're here to do. We're here to make sure that you're having an effective recovery process and progress so that you can actually see the progress that you're making, okay? We honor your choices and decisions and support your independence. We promote your positive well-being, not toxic positivity, but a process of being able to see that you're making choices that are promoting your well-being, okay? Enhances your dignity. So we know that you know at any given point in time what you need as your one next step. You will find your quality of life improves. Your sessions are personalized and empowering. We provide information and education to take back into your daily life to help you with your progress, okay? We provide an emotionally safe environment and we address social, spiritual, physical, psychological, attachment, and emotional needs. The difference between coaching and therapy. So inside your download link is going to be the difference between therapy and coaching. And there's also a download link for a blog post on what questions you can ask a therapist to know if they are trauma trained. All right. Complex PTSD coaching helps you achieve effective results in a time-effective manner. Talk therapy does not work for complex trauma recovery. Talk therapy relies on a part of the brain being online, which is actually offline when we have complex trauma. So thank you for being with me today and going through the process and all the slides of beginning to understand that trauma-informed is not trauma-trained. I will link down below your downloads for the slides and for the information I gave you. And you can feel welcome to reach out and ask questions if you need to. And above and beyond everything else, I may not be your trauma-trained coach that you need. So keep an eye on my website because I'm in the process of putting a directory up of people who are trauma coaches and those who are currently being trained in complex trauma coaching, okay? Becoming complex trauma trained coaches. That sounds better, doesn't it? Okay, have the most beautiful, beautiful day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.